Good day, Internet.
Good day, Internet.
Good day, Internet.
Oh, good day, Internet.
Good day, Internet. Nice to see you.
What's happening, hot Internet?
HotNet?
HotNet.
What's the HotNet? Like, what is that? I know
right
what the
here.
dark net is.
Yeah.
You know, I know.
It's a network of people who are wearing sweaters. And they're like, ugh,
Well,
too hot.
I'm in
Sunny
the
out.
HotNet. Not too hot here. Actually, it's not really that cold here today, but boy, was it cold this morning.
Oh, cold.
Well,
It
I
was-
know. I'm sorry. It's all relative.
Cold is a relative term. It's not
It
an
went
absolute
down
term.
to-
She's not saying it was absolute Kelvin.
It's going down to
Absolutely.
3 tonight for the
Ooh, yeah,
low.
that's cold.
I didn't even wear a jacket when I took my daughter to school this morning.
Oh my gosh.
It was a heat wave at like 17 degrees. It was like nice.
School was closed today. And while they were closed, it was too cold to go to school.
Wow.
We had school closed on Tuesday because we had had an overnight freeze after a 2-day thaw, and then had several inches of snow on top of that. So basically, all the roads were frozen and
Icy
snow
and
is a
snowy
lubricant.
and
Yeah, snow is a lubricant on the road if the road is covered in ice.
Yes, it is.
So
Well, I'm not going to complain about the weather here.
I mean,
it was cold. It was cold in the sense that, you know, I had to put my big jacket on this morning to take the dog for a walk. But no, I wasn't dying.
I actually thought it was pretty fun this morning taking the trash out to the curb because today's my trash day. And usually when I do that in the mornings, I'll let Kai come out with me and, you know, he'll run around in the snow or whatever. And he could not keep his feet under him on the driveway this morning. So he was trying to run around and be excited. And every time he went to, you know, get a little bit of speed, his feet wouldn't hold up and he's just sliding.
Like being on the tile floor times 100.
Yeah. It looked a lot like the Bambi scene on the frozen lake is what I'm saying.
Oh, that's cute.
Len, I don't know if you noticed, but I got the prototype hoodie for the Patreon loyalty merch with your logo. It's a little like wearing the concert tee at the concert because it's me on this one, but it's the only one I got.
That's great. I saw the tote bag. I did see the tote bag.
Oh yeah. I got the tote bag right here. This is the tote bag for the Grandmaster level. The second, if you stay for 6 months, you get the tote bag with Sarah Lane.
Aww.
You can go shopping with Sarah anytime you want.
Shopping with
Sarah. And that, I want that for you. I do. I think that would be very nice.
Yeah, bring her along.
Yeah.
Also, here's an example of the T-shirt. If you're at the level that gets a T-shirt,
nice.
The blue T-shirt with Roger.
I love it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Nice color. Nice color.
Yeah.
And it'll be right under your right side of your chest.
In case that matters.
Yeah, in case it wasn't weird.
Roger will be not next to your heart, but near it.
It is. He is next to your heart.
Well, he's adjacent to the heart, not on top of it.
Heart adjacent.
He's adjacent.
Yeah. He's heart adjacent. Yeah, we just might make it clear what we're doing here.
I showed these before, but we got the mugs too.
Mugging for the camera, Sarah.
Yep. Looking good.
Stickers. All kinds of good stuff. So yeah, patreon.com/DTNS. Thank you, Len, for making these logos.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I think they turned out really fantastic.
Yeah, they look really nice.
I love seeing merch like that. It's always fun.
I love the word merch. I don't know why, something about it.
Merch.
I like merch.
Swag.
Merch.
I was never a big fan of merchandise.
It sounds both corporate, but it also sounds very kind of like
casual,
street level kind of guerrilla marketing. like, oh, we got to get our merch out there. You know, like it works for
like you're in a band.
Yeah.
And you're just like
go to our merch booth.
Slinging merch.
Speaking of people that know merch or my own voice.
This is how you know. No. The Justin, Robert, Young.
Well,
Young.
it
has joined the show.
It adds to my theory that Justin actually doesn't exist on our timeline, but he slowly phases in for the show, and that's why you hear the audio distortion.
Yeah, that's probably true. In his timeline, like, not only is there a different president, but there's different political parties and everything. That's why he's so good at PX3.
That's why it's politics,
you can look at it all in retrospect.
politics.
Yeah.
He's like, guys, I'm just trying to set up my camera. Give me a break.
I mean, or mention that there's audio distortion every single time that I come on.
Well, this time it was on the live stream. So when it happens pre-show, it's like, yeah, we know.
That's my own fault.
But now we had a whole new world to introduce it to.
It's part of the expanded politics universe, or cinematic or podcast universe.
Sure.
It's on brand that we would all echo as the host of politics comes on. I mean,
it's yeah.
I suppose so. It's right there in the name.
Yeah, I told you who's great at merch. He's also great at branding.
Let me tell you, folks, there's pretty much every day 2 voices in my ear as I walk the dog. One of them is whoever's hosting the Economist podcast that I'm listening to that day. Kenneth Cukier, perhaps, or someone else. But the other one's Justin Robert Young, because PX3 with the bonus episodes, like 4 out of 5 work weekdays.
Every day Tuesday. Tuesday there's no episode.
So
we might 4 out of 5 weekdays.
We might go 5 wide during as we get closer to the election. We'll see.
Yeah, there was that period last year where you had a stretch of 5 wide. You were out there covering the primaries, putting out bonus sound and stuff.
Yeah, but that was God. I don't know. Everything all blends together. The other day or yesterday actually, while I was writing and recording Friday's episode of PX3, there was a note that there are Supreme Court vacancies in 3 consecutive election years, 18, 20, and 22. And for real, it might even still be in the episode, depending on what the editor leaves in. But I have a brain fart where I'm like, it's not 2022. It's not really. It's not,
was that in the main episode or the bonus episode?
That's the episode that'll come out tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
It's Friday.
I had a similar thing happen, Justin, where I was like, it's 2020. It's 2020. Yeah,
it's still 2020, right? It's the 25th month of
2021.
Right?
I know it's not 2021, but 2022 doesn't sound right either.
It's the 27th day of the 25th month, 2020.
Of 2020. Yeah, like we're still in that year. Like let's figure that year out before we get crazy. Okay.
I like Lion Jim Video's comment. This 2022, as in also.
Yeah, also right. Perfect.
Yeah,
Jim.
I would like it to not be a repeat of 2020.
Yeah, it was 2020.
That was a fun.
Then 2020. And then 2022.
Justin's like, I don't know. I've already got all the episodes recorded for 2020. That could be a good year.
Yeah, it's really sad because 2020 was the most financially lucrative year because it was an election year, and so I found out that the Patreon stuff was really kind of attractive to people, so that was very good. And it was very rewarding in a way where, like, especially when you're in, this is like some real talk, but like when you're in this world of like independent podcasting and you don't have the like, oh, let me get a raise from my company, or let me gauge the interest from other competing companies for which I could go get a job. Whenever there's like real traction, and it happens every once in a while, like where like all of a sudden things go from like a 2 to a 6. It's really exciting, and that happened in 2020. It just so happened that it was also like among the most depressing years of all time. So that was a real sweet and sour moment.
Yeah. No,
I don't remember what happened.
Well, there was I don't either.
I don't remember what happened.
Seems like a long time ago now.
Yeah.
And yet, it also seems like the year we're in.
We hired a science correspondent?
Yeah.
Or was that 2021?
I think it was 2021.
Yeah, that might have been 2021.
Although, don't quote me on that.
We started
is
a
difficult.
Spanish language podcast? No,
Mhm.
is that? Oh, that might have been 2021 too.
Yeah, I think that was 2020.
Oh, that might have been.
I had an anniversary or quadrennial anniversary.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah.
I rescheduled my 50th birthday party, which I will have.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I'll have it someday.
I spent your birthday in Animal Crossing with you for
That's
a bit.
right. I forgot that. Yeah, Len stopped by my Animal Crossing island, and we partied with Genji. And
Yeah, I gave you some gifts. It was great.
Yeah, that was fun. I've totally forgot.
Len, before I forget, and we have some time to think about this, but in July, a friend of mine is getting married outside of Cleveland.
Oh,
So I thought, well, if Len and co were around, maybe Rob Dunwood, if he felt like taking, whatever, make the drive. Obviously, Rich Troffolino.
Yeah, right.
It could be kind of fun. Never been to Cleveland. In
wow.
fact, I've never been to
Where
Ohio.
in Cleveland? Do you mind if I ask?
I don't know exactly. I'd have to look up the name of the town. They said it's about a 45-minute drive outside the city.
Oh, okay. So it's not near the heart of rock and roll then.
Well, it's nearer than
But
I
it's
am
still
now.
beaten.
Yeah,
that's like
it is.
Akron, right? I think you might be in Akron.
Something like that.
I've only been in Ohio
I'm not totally sure, but they're actually already married. But the celebration,
Gotcha.
Tom, you talking about your birthday made me think of it. Was just they just decided to like do a Zoom wedding in their apartment.
Have the wedding, yeah.
Yeah, and it was going to happen last year, and then it got pushed, and now they're kind of like, okay, we're going to do it.
Well, I would love to
barring
do
any unforeseen weirdness, I'm going to go. And it would be really fun to say hello.
Oh my gosh, that would be fantastic. And and here's the thing, I feel like you and I have met in person, but I don't think we have.
I don't either. I was thinking about that. Like, I don't know that we had. The only real place it would have been was CES, and I don't think.
Well,
we've been there.
Con and Dragon Con is where I always seem to run into Len, or the Podcast Expo going way back.
No, for some reason I thought it was Comic-Con. I thought it was San Diego, but
I might have been to Comic-Con in San Diego a couple times, but I don't feel like we saw each other there. I was always working and sort of in a corner somewhere, but I don't know.
Well, it will give me an opportunity to get with Rich, because Rich only lives literally like 5 minutes
across
from me, and
the
I never
street
ever
from
see
Len,
him.
and they never have met.
They refuse to get together unless I'm there.
Sarah will bring them
I'm
together.
just trying to make
End
it better
this
for the
feud
team.
between Len and Rich. Finally,
Right? Yeah.
Sarah,
I just wish you guys would bury the hatchet.
Are you going to do any extra time in Cleveland? Are you going to
I thought so. Yeah, I someone that Tom and Roger used to work with as well, Hallie Furstenberg. She lives in Cleveland, or just outside of Cleveland. Good friend of mine from the Tech TV days. She's there, and so I was like, I think I actually might maybe try to make a week out of
when
the
is
whole
this?
thing. In July. I don't totally know the dates.
We should do a Cleveland-based Daily Tech News Show episode.
Could be kind of fun. I know.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
I thought so.
Might be able to coax me up for that. That was Cleveland. I when I was on the road, Cleveland was one of the cities that every time I came there, it was getting better. There was downtown Cleveland compared to, and Len, you can probably speak to this more expertly than I could, but compared to about 15 years ago is almost a totally different experience. And it has kind of spread out to the point where now it's like super cool, super walkable, especially for sports. Like they have both their basketball and baseball arenas literally right next to each other, and they're literally downtown. You can walk to a bunch of really cool stuff. But it rules.
Yeah,
it's good.
You know what else
Rocks.
rules?
What's that? To Cleveland?
You know what they consider the Cleveland of tech news because it rules so much.
Ooh,
Daily Tech News.
like that.
I shall count us in then. Here we go in 3, 2. Coming up on DTNS, can Q Commerce conquer India and then the world? Also, what the heck is Q Commerce? Plus, examples of NFTs that are useful and how one of the best security policies of the year just came from the U.S. government. This is the Daily Tech News for Thursday, January 27th, 2022 in Los Angeles. I'm Tom Merritt.
And from Studio Redwood, I'm Sarah Lane.
From Austin, Texas, I'm Justin Robert Young.
Drawing the top tech stories from Cleveland, I'm Len Peralta.
And I'm Roger Chang, the show's producer.
We were just talking about Cleveland and how it rules and rocks both. On Good Day Internet, you can get that longer version of this show at patreon.com/DTNS.
Big thanks to our top patrons. Today they include Chris Allen, Mark Gibson, and Reed Fischler.
Let's start with a few tech things you should know.
Meta's Messenger, formerly Facebook Messenger, started rolling out end-to-end encryption options to users back in 2016, and it's now available to all Messenger users. You can toggle it on for any message or group chat or call, although it isn't on by default. You have to turn it on yourself. For new conversations, you can toggle on secret conversations. That shows up as a little lock icon, so you know that it's secret. Or in an ongoing conversation, you can use vanish mode by swiping up on an existing chat, which will cause messages to disappear when the window is closed as well. You can also now use GIFs, stickers, reactions, and verified badges in encrypted conversations.
There are a lot of tech acquisitions waiting on approval out there. Warner Media and Discovery, media and tech, Microsoft and Activision Blizzard. Some look like they may not happen. We just talked about NVIDIA and ARM. Just might not ever close. So let's turn the tables and talk about two tech acquisitions that just got the big old thumbs up. China's notoriously fussy State Administration for Market Regulation has conditionally approved AMD's acquisition of chip specialist Xilinx. The conditions involved avoiding tie-ins and discriminating against customers, so that deal is now expected to close this quarter. And Meta got the European Union to approve its acquisition of CRM maker Customer. That's Customer with a K. Meta had to agree to not limit anybody's access to the Customer API for 10 years. And then Europe said, that's fine, go for it.
If you're hoping someday to do some serious gaming on a Chromebook, here's an important story to note. Wednesday, 9 to 5, Google spotted a feature flag in the code for Chromium Garrett to enable support for RGB keyboards on supported devices. It includes per-key color programming and custom RGB color selection. These devices are associated with the feature flag, including 2 Intel 12th Gen Alder Lake laptops and a detachable keyboard. Next stop, formal Steam support and RTX-based Chromebooks, right? Perhaps? Maybe.
Speaking of gaming coming to places people would like it to come to if they use those things, compatible 2021 LG TVs can now download the GeForce Now app from the LG Content Store. That follows a beta period that had begun last November, so now everybody gets it. The app allows access directly from the TV to NVIDIA's streaming service of games that you already own from Steam and Epic. You won't need to have an NVIDIA Shield to play them if you don't have one already. But if you do have an NVIDIA Shield, got good news for you too. You can now take advantage of the 4K upscaling that the Shield does for video streams on GeForce Now games. That is also available to GeForce Now users on certain 10 series or newer NVIDIA GPUs on a PC.
The Adobe-led Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity, or C2PA for short, has finalized version 1.0 of a digital content standard. The standard, when implemented, can identify when and where an image or a video was created and document changes that were made to that piece of media. Microsoft, ARM, Intel TruePic, and the BBC are all part of the coalition.
All right, let's talk a little more about my local food truck that I'm always worried is going to drop their square dongle into a big pot of refried beans. Is there any hope for that, Justin?
Yes, they might now drop their entire iPhone into a pot of refried beans if this is correct. And this is a Bloomberg sources say report that, quote, in the coming months, small businesses will be able to use iPhones to accept payments without requiring extra hardware like those dongles or those little card reader squares that connect via Bluetooth. Apple bought a contactless payment company called MobiWave in 2019 that would make this possible. The company previously worked with Samsung on a similar project, with Samsung phones able to accept payments from contactless cards and NFC payments, including Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, and Google Pay. Yes, you could tap a Samsung phone with an iPhone and pay the merchant with the Samsung phone. What a wonderful world we live in. The report does not reveal if MobiWave's tech will be branded as part of Apple Pay's service, though it does potentially mean we might see it show up in iOS 15.4 soon, A reminder that iOS 15.3 was just released Thursday.
So we don't know whether it'll be part of Apple Pay, but we know it'll be part of Apple Pay.
Kind of points that way. Now, this would be okay. I go up to my favorite food truck, staying away from the refried beans. I tap my phone to their phone, and that's and the payment is okay, because
they would still need the dongle for cards, for credit cards, for chip payments. But anything NFC
for chip cards that don't have contact,
that don't have any contactless, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Which fewer and fewer have. I mean, if it has a chip, many of them have contactless, although it's not exactly a universal standard. I think of all the technologies that through the pandemic, I think leaped ahead about 5 years in the 1 year that we had the intense lockdown. Obviously, video communication was one of them with Zoom. I think contactless payment was as well, not only in situations like this, but also in a lot of restaurant situations or bar situations where you're doing a lot of mobile ordering and running all of the charges via a drop-down menu on your phone. This is another part of it, although iPhones are not exactly cheap. I would imagine that the real worth of something like this is it being a standard and older iPhones being able to be used as total registers effectively. iPads as well.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that aspect of it. As Apple does try to emphasize service revenue, I wouldn't be shocked to see them try to implement Apple Pay and through MobiWave, an Apple Pay merchant payments platform off iOS, right?
Certainly so.
Dare I say Android.
And also the ability this isn't just a merchant thing in the way that we've often thought about it. Digital currencies, and we're not even talking about crypto.
Right.
But getting money, the $5 from your friend, Venmo transactions are all over the place right now. To make it something where you could do it via Apple Cash from phone to phone might be something that you do.
Well, while we are talking about e-commerce, let's stop and talk about Q Commerce. Tech in Asia and the Business Times both have reports out on Q Commerce taken off in India, especially in India. We've touched on this emerging trend before, but now it's got this snappy new nickname, so it's worth looking at again. Q stands for quick. Generally, Q Commerce is the idea that you can get something delivered in less than 30 minutes. That's what we've talked about before. We just didn't call it Q Commerce. Most of these companies are trying to promise 10, 15-minute delivery. Occasionally you might see 5 minutes, but it's usually around 10 or 15. Business Times used Grab and Food Panda as an example in their article. Tech in Asia highlights Zepto, Dunzo, Blinkit, and Instamart in India. In the United States, it's DoorDash, GoPuff, Joker, Getter, Bike, with a BYK, Gorillas, and Fridge No More. In all of those cases, it's the old story of offering an astounding service that consumers love. Oh, I'm out of pasta sauce. This app will get me pasta sauce in 10 minutes. Crisis averted. Then the company pours money in it to make it actually work, while they also try to learn how to make it more efficient and hope that the logistics technology that speeds up the fulfillment and maps things out and queues up orders improves enough and the customer base grows enough that those two lines cross and they can reach profitability at some point. Now, these companies rely on something called contribution profit. This is key to not misunderstanding what the actual problems with these business models might be. To convince investors to stay with them, they report contribution profit because contribution profit, if I'm going to oversimplify, and I am, means the amount of money you make per order when you ignore your fixed costs. So you'll hear about these companies losing money on every order, but that usually includes the entire cost of the operation. However, your rent, the equipment you bought, those don't count in contribution profit because those don't go up. So the more customers you get, the more your rent doesn't go up. So more customers does mean you can make more money. If you have positive contribution profit, then theoretically, you just need to get enough customers to outweigh your fixed costs, and then you would become profitable. In fact, GoPuff told Tech in Asia it is contribution profit positive. So they just need enough customers. They've figured out how to make money. They just need to have enough customers to pay off their fixed costs. The other aspects of Q Commerce is free delivery. You can't keep that going. Not all Q Commerce companies forego the fees, but the ones that do run their own stores, dark stores, where they stock their own items rather than having to get them from existing convenience stores or restaurants. And most analysts think that the margins are thin enough that even dark stores are eventually going to have to charge delivery fees, at which point you start driving away customers. One executive told Tech in Asia he thinks a dark store would have to make about 1,000 deliveries a day per location to break even. Resisting the siren song of all of this is Flipkart. Flipkart's CEO told the Economic Times he thought 30 to 45-minute deliveries were a more sustainable model. And with the Q Commerce craze, he sounds really slow. 30 to 45. What are you, Domino's in the 80s? Come on. Give us something
I don't know.
faster.
It depends on where you live, of course. And these sorts of models are just going to scale in urban areas way better than
Very good point. Yeah, absolutely.
For example, somewhere that I live, it's like I can't drive anywhere in 10 minutes. How would I expect them to get it to me in 10 minutes?
Right.
It's just not going to happen. Or, there are very few things that I really want that are that close by. So you kind of have to take that into consideration. But yeah, the idea of contribution profit is interesting because, like you said, Tom, you have these fixed costs as a company. The company goes, okay, we know how much churn we're going through just making this whole thing sustainable. But if we have 10 cans of pasta sauce that are ready to go out instead of one, that doesn't change those fixed costs. We have the opportunity to make that much more money off of the people who want the pasta sauce, in a very short amount of time. So yeah, I wonder, for me, it's like, okay, when I used to live near, within walking distance to several grocery stores, how much would I take advantage of this? Because I not only have the benefit of being in a more, dense urban area, but I also am closer to those areas. Even if I drove, the cost of gas, I'm probably saving over delivery fees if and when those become an issue.
Do they not go up? Do they really not go up? Because this is a logistics business. And if your consumer base expands, then not only do you need more product to serve them, which is something that does go up, but you probably need new locations and more drivers and all these things that they are counting as fixed. At the end of the day, and I'm glad you brought up India where this is growing, because in the grand tradition of South Asia, this Q Commerce craze is the graveyard of empires for venture capital. It has always been an insustainable holy grail for these companies. For whatever reason, they always try to reinvent it, and they think that now that we are further along with mobile data, it'll work better. Now that we pay for more things on our phones, it'll work better. Now that we're used to delivery, it'll work better. If Amazon could not make it fully work with Prime Now, which is they still exist on some level, but hasn't expanded like you would expect, then nobody's going to do it because nobody is better at logistics than Amazon. None of these companies.
Yeah. And getting back to that contribution profit point, your fixed cost doesn't go up per dark store, right? Certainly pasta, the number of cans of pasta sauce is a variable cost. So that one counts, right? But the store rent wouldn't count, right? But you have to increase the customers for that store. If you increase customers by opening up another store, well, you just added to your fixed costs. So that's,
exactly.
That may sound like, oh, well, but you just need more customers. It's like, yeah, but that's a hard thing. 1,000 people from one store and to deliver in 10 to 15 minutes means you have a compressed area to serve in. So it has to be dense, like Sarah was saying. Otherwise, you won't have 1,000 people within 5 minutes of the dark store location. So it's only going to work in certain highly dense urban situations. I'm not saying it can't.
Even then, I know we're going long on this, but even then, you are talking about customers that have more opportunity because they're walking more to just pick up the one or two things that they need. This is not a situation where they only have one moment a week or 6 moments a week for which they're crossing by their local grocery store. These consumers have a lot of options to do it. And so I don't know.
And it has to be an affluent area, right? Yep. It has to be a tech forward area. So, I mean, graveyard of empires, the ghosts of Cosmo and Webvan.
Or maybe all the grocery stores just, die and dark stores are the future. And that's just the world that we live in.
Well, we'll find out.
Well, yeah, not tomorrow, but
then it will be Safeway that pioneers this. And maybe that's it. Maybe a lot of these companies they just want to make sure that they are there so they can get swept up by a Kroger or a Publix or any of these other major chains.
That's a lot of them just have an exit plan. You're not wrong there. Yeah. They sell the logistics learnings that they had in the end. That could be the exit for a lot of them.
Well, speaking of the future of technology, several folks have asked us to highlight uses of NFTs, non-fungible tokens, that aren't, trading pictures of apes or maybe Beatles memorabilia. A couple of things we've talked about recently on the show. Not that those aren't important, but we found a few examples of where NFTs might be going, and we can kick those around today to kind of, just the idea of, expansion. What can NFTs really be used for that could be helpful to you? Well, this one, Lamborghini partnering with Sotheby's and NFT Pro to auction off 5 pieces of digital art might be in your wheelhouse. It might not. You kind of got to be a Lamborghini person. But let's say you are. Each NFT has a physical companion space key that includes carbon fiber that has been to the International Space Station and back. Each space key has a QR code linked to the digital art associated with the NFT that was made by Swiss artist Fabian Offner.
Okay, so that's got a physical thing. It's not just digital. I get it. So there's something you can hold in your hand with that one.
Yeah, it's definitely if this is something you like Lamborghinis, you like space, you might really like this. It's something that it's a little bit of bragging rights, I would say.
The NFT here is effectively a digital version of the piece of paper you would get the
certificate, right?
Exactly. Yes. Second example of something kind of interesting: Warner Music Group is opening a location in the virtual world. You could call it the metaverse, called The Sandbox, where it will host what it calls a combination of musical theme park and concert venue. It'll also sell nearby plots of real estate to fans starting in March. The Sandbox uses NFTs to handle sales of that digital property, so players can not only own their own space, be like, this is my part of the grass, this is where I hang out, but also monetize in-game resources in this particular metaverse.
So in the Sandbox, I could own a location so I can log in really close to Marshmallow playing in Fortnite, except
totally.
Warner this is like Sandbox.
I feel like this is me buying, the like cool VIP pass at Coachella, where you have a certain area where nobody else can go because you've sort of paid a premium. This is your area, your plot of land. And if you're into that kind of musical experience or just live experience in general, which many other platforms have experimented with varying degrees of success, but sometimes very successful, could be cool.
Yeah, I would think of it like local theaters will sell you like the entire slate that they are going to put on, be they dramatic performances or musical performances or anything like that. So it's like that, but for digital only things you are getting for every event.
Like
that's a good comparison.
All right.
The third option here in the new NFT world, this actually might have some legs, especially if you're in the market for a new home. TechCrunch reports on a startup called Propy, P-R-O-P-Y, that used an NFT in connection with the sale of an apartment in Ukraine successfully, and is now bringing that platform to the U.S. Limited at first, but definitely coming to the U.S. The idea is to put the legal paperwork on the blockchain, reducing the cost and simplifying the purchasing process for everybody. Brokers, agents, title companies, buyers, and sellers could all benefit from an automated paperless closing such as this, although Propy is marketed towards owners and brokers for now. This is using the smart contracts aspect of blockchains. U.S. states, Vermont and Arizona, recently passed legislation affirming they are legally admissible. This is not an illegal thing happening. This can be done. So Propy will start by auctioning 2 properties in Florida on February 8th. So just 2 for now, but we'll see how it goes. It works as such. The record of the purchases goes onto the blockchain, provides access to the legal documents that prove ownership, because it's in the blockchain, and buyers save a little bit this way. Also makes the purchasing process quicker, which if you ever bought a home, which I have not, but I know people who have, it is not a quick process. Now, if the buyer's successful, gets the house, let's say, they get a Florida-based investment property owning a U.S.-based entity that owns the property, the ownership rights of which are associated with an NFT. It's not a fractional ownership. This is not some like, oh, I don't really own it. I only own a digital version of this. It becomes a DeFi asset that can be borrowed against like any other property.
So it's a little end around. The company owns the property, and so you're buying the company, and therefore, because you own the company, you own the property. But in the end, you don't have to have this huge pile of documents that you have to have normally when you buy a property. I like it. It's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, it certainly is a way that you can get more crypto into the world of investment, real estate buying, which is its own. I don't know if in the world of NFT criticism, easier and more frictionless ways that crypto money can be poured into investment real estate is going to win a lot of fans. But certainly you can see the idea of NFTs being a digital collectible for whatever reason is something that I think as a standard very much has legs, despite the fact that obviously there is backlash to the kind of current moment it is having.
Yeah, I feel like the end around there in Florida where you're buying the company is probably because Florida isn't recognizing deeds on the blockchain. But in Vermont and Arizona, I'm guessing you might not even need to do that company owning the property thing. You might be able to just do it all on the blockchain. And man, if that means like one less day of like, here are the 13 DocuSigns that you have to do in your email today, I'm in. I'm in for it. All right, folks, join in the conversation in our Discord. We don't require you to have an NFT, just a Patreon account, patreon.com/DTNS. Get in there and talk about your favorite NFTs. The United States Office of Management and Budget sent a memo to federal agencies calling for new security strategies, including moving to a zero trust model. That's pretty security forward. Agencies have 2 months to present their plan for transitioning to this new level of security, and they have to get their plans in execution by 2024. Zero trust, if you don't follow security news, means you don't assume just because you're inside your own network that every user or service is trustworthy. You realize, hey, bad folks get inside networks all the time. So let's just always be securing everything. Corporations have been moving to this model as attackers get better at infiltrating networks, and you want to still catch the malicious actors even after they get in. So among the strategies with Zero Trust are multi-factor authentication, so that you can log in multiple times, not just once into the network, access controls, no matter where you're logging in from, VPN not being considered enough, not relying on VPN for security. Everything that attempts to access data in a zero trust model, user, device, application, transaction, needs to be verified. I found a great post from Dr. Sharon Goldberg. She's CEO of Bastion Zero, reviewing this memo. People familiar with zero trust won't be surprised that the memo deals with network segmentation, role-based access control, stronger authentication. But Dr. Goldberg pointed out that it includes creating public vulnerability disclosure programs. The U.S. is going to do some bug bounties. It implements encrypted DNS, requires encrypted DNS on government websites, puts a stop to requiring rotating passwords or special character requirements that end up inconveniencing users more than thwarting attackers and have literally been shown to cause people to use weaker passwords. That's out. Passwordless login is encouraged. They also deprecate VPN, saying, quote, users should log into applications rather than networks. And, again, from the Office of Management and Budget, enterprise applications should be able to be used over the public internet. In other words, authenticate people for real and securely. Don't rely on VPN as a crutch. Secure the application itself. Here are a few points Dr. Goldberg emphasized. Credentials don't live a long time, meaning attackers won't be able to steal a token and last forever in the network. The memo describes something similar to just-in-time access control, which gives an authenticated user access to a resource only while she needs it, and then revokes the access. You don't just leave people logged in. A lot of this relies on good multi-factor authentication, and the memo tells agencies to discontinue SMS or voice calls as second factors. You might say, oh, thank goodness. But it also dismisses one-time code protocols like Authy or Google Authenticator. Users should use cards or USB keys like a YubiKey. Those are harder to phish. You could still phish a Google Authenticator code. Really hard to phish a USB key. It also needs to consider the device being used when logging someone in. So if you're logging in from a device that's never been authorized on the network, you won't get to log in. Your laptop or your phone needs to have a security certificate pushed to it, or you can't use it even if you've got multiple factors. This is not only state of the art, folks. This is the U.S. government in consultation with security professionals putting forward a like cutting edge, like bleeding edge security protocol, which certainly by 2024 won't be as bleeding edge as it is now. But this, I don't know, to me, I was shocked. This is definitely the right thing to do.
At the speed of the federal government, this is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, right.
This is insanely, blazingly forward, and the fact that they're probably going, a little bit more where the puck is headed than where the puck is in terms of the general consensus of security. As you rightly pointed out, this would be something that would be forward for a private company. The fact that these are standards for the federal government is, I think, encouraging. And also, it's smart in that they are not applying standards that are already understood to be kind of theater, like rotating your passwords and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't really have a ton of commentary other than good on you.
Right? This is why you don't get good news in the newspaper, because you can't make fun. You can't have Schadenfreude about how bad the government is on this one, no matter what your political stripe is.
And also, to be fair, this is necessary. If you look at the reality of cyber warfare, how much it's been stepped up throughout the entire known world, how much of a target the United States is, probably the biggest target. We also saw the story last week about the IRS stepping up their security. That's because it was hilariously weak and led to a lot of very, very costly and harmful phishing and identity theft. This is just good. And it's not just good, it's necessary.
And some of these are things you can only do because you're the government, because you're you're not serving the kind of client base that, say, a bank is, right? You can have stricter requirements and say, well, if you want to be an employee, this is what you got to do. Amos is pointing out in our Twitch chat right now that sometimes classified computers have USB ports disabled. USB keys might not work on those, but you can still set up card keys and second factor that uses NFC in those situations. And I'm sure that's considered in the memo. I didn't see that in particular, though. All right, let's check out the mailbag.
Okay, we got a few emails in response to the question from yesterday's show about Android apps on Windows. What are they good for? Kevin wrote in and said one reason why running Android apps on Windows might be useful is for streaming, video streaming services. As far as I know, says Kevin, apps are the only method to download episodes on streaming services for offline viewing. Many streaming services lack apps made for Windows. I want to emphasize that might is in that statement. Chrome OS has this ability, and some streaming apps are still unavailable or have bugs that aren't present on Android. Crossing my fingers that Android apps on Windows will make offline streaming on a bigger device or without the need for a second device a reality. At this point, I'm only cautiously optimistic, though. Andrew M. wrote in, had a similar point about downloads, adding, quote, my wife currently spends way too much time trying to edit Instagram videos on her phone because she doesn't want to deal with the transfer complications in the phone app, and the phone app, the main experience, with features missing from the browser site, or so she tells me. Oh, Andrew M. Okay, you don't use Instagram. And finally, Andrew B. added, what about Android apps on your portable Windows tablet? Microsoft can make an iPad or even a phone competitor and say, hey, we know the Windows App Store isn't the greatest, but you get all the best Android apps there too.
Well, let's just back off of having Microsoft make a phone competitor after Windows Phone for a minute. But they already make tablets with keyboards, right? That's the Surface. So I'm with Andrew B on that. Kind of emphasizing like, hey, you now can get all your favorite Android apps, maybe not all your Android apps, but the best ones on a Windows tablet, on a Windows Surface. Yeah, that's compelling. Good stuff. Good things. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you both Andrews for writing in.
Indeed. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com is where to send emails. We often say, hey, Hive Mind, you have ideas about the story that we talked about, please do send them to us. And you did. So keep them coming. It makes us all smarter in the process. We also have a brand new bosses, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, in fact, to thank. Michael Camachi, Aaron Spinelli, Mike Weber, Jason Harris are all our new bosses who just started backing us on Patreon. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Mike. And thank you, Jason.
But that's great. That's great because we always lose people at the beginning of the year when everybody has to reshuffle their finances, and we totally understand. So it's good that there's other folks coming in to pick them up and getting a chance to maybe get some cool new loyalty merch if they stick around. Speaking of our loyalty merch, that was designed by Len Peralta, who's with us today, illustrating the show. Len, what have you drawn for us?
Well, I missed the discussion about the ape NFTs, and I haven't really done anything with NFTs on the show for a while. So I decided to kind of, on that note, create a mascot, an NFT mascot for the show. And I'm premiering it here. This is DDNS. DDNS. DTNS. Get it?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Uh-huh. Maybe related to KK Slider. This is the tech-savvy Wheaton Terrier. They have apes. We have Wheaton Terriers. And this is the official mascot, the official NFT mascot of DTNS. It's DDNS. The other cool thing is the only place you can get this NFT is at OpenSea, and I just I put a link in the Twitch chat if you're interested in taking a look for it. It's DDNS, the tech savvy Wheaton Terrier, is up there for 0.25 Ethereum. So check it out, and maybe we can create a bunch of DDNS.
Yeah. With different attributes,
possibly.
Excited tech-savvy terrier club.
Holding a smartphone that says that Ethereum has dropped to $29.36.
Yes, it's $29.36.
If so, I am poorer than ever.
Yes, I've lost lots on that. So check it out.
Good stuff, Len. Also, thanks to Justin Robert Young for being with us today. Justin, anything new to tell the folks out at home?
Oh boy, every once in a while the news, it just falls from the sky like so much rain. A new Supreme Court justice is on the way. If you want to know the entire roadmap of what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and a few guesses and predictions, including answers to all your wild questions and theories, like whether or not Kamala Harris, the sitting vice president, will be on the bench, answered and explained on the upcoming episode of Politics. That comes out tomorrow.
Well, thanks for being with us, Len and Justin. We are live Monday through Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. That's 21:30 UTC. We'd love to have you join us live if you can. Find out more at dailytechnewsshow.com/live. And we'll be back tomorrow doing it all again with Rob DeMillo. Talk to you soon.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Banger of a show.
Loved it.
A big
real banger.
And a mash. Hey,
I didn't want to say it during the show because it's such a stupid joke, but I wish Q Commerce could just be called Quammerce. Same idea.
Well, it can. We
just did.
Oh yeah.
If wishing makes it so.
I'm minting that right now.
Like third feature on a Playboy Cardi song. Like featuring three other rappers.
Featuring Lil Yachty, Big Boy, and Quammerce.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody will name their baby Quammerce.
Please send us a picture. Sell us the NFT of your baby.
It's quick and it's expensive.
Yeah. Well, if you deliver fast, perhaps you'll want to name your baby Quammerce.
Yeah. 10 minutes or less.
That sounds like a dream.
A lot of money into your child and then possibly selling it to Publix.
What's your exit strategy for your baby?
Yeah. Where are you looking? How much runway does this baby have?
Yeah. What's your contributing profit? You have a lot of fixed costs, I understand, but the crib and all.
Yeah. Where are your kickbacks coming from?
Showbot.tv.
Are we gonna start IPOing babies now?
I mean, hasn't it happened? Has it not happened?
Someone has probably done this.
I can tell you, that it'd be a great way to raise some funds because babies are expensive.
I mean, all right.
I think you want to do a SPAC with a baby, right?
So honestly, there was, I think it was in the interview that he did with Drink Champs, but Kanye West hinted that there could be a forthcoming SPAC as soon as he's out of his current contract with his record label and he owns all of his own output again, that there could be a coming SPAC. He would look to go public with his entire output as a business. And so look, not to get too into the dystopian world, but could that idea of, will you invest in me as a person? Am I going to put myself up for public consumption and funding? Like, possibly.
A SPAC almost feels old-fashioned for Ye. It feels like it should be a DAO, like a DAO.
Maybe, who knows? Who knows? He's got a lot going on, so we'll see exactly what the form of it is. But we saw part of it with the Trump media company thing. Although he obviously has a little bit more of a history in creating content of that is publicly funded, so or at least gets funding from elsewhere. But I guess Ye does too. Who knows? I don't know. I think it is an interesting idea. Whether or not it would be looked at as horrifyingly dystopic, which I think it might be, is another question entirely.
The 1967 Topps baseball set of 125 plus low grade cards is in countdown. I'm sorry. I have to see if my current bid will hold.
Uh-oh.
Hour and 56 minutes.
Why on earth would you pay money for a piece of paper, Tom?
I know, right?
Cardboard that can fade and
I
be
could
destroyed?
just take a picture of these and then I have them.
Scam. This is a total scam.
You know what it is? And this doesn't answer that question. I'm departing from the metaphor now. Sure. I bought a bunch of 1967 Topps baseball cards at a garage sale when I was a kid. And I want to complete the set. So I've been like, I could complete the set by you can order the exact number of cards you're missing. That's no fun. I want 125 cheap 1967 baseball cards. They don't have to be even near mint. I don't care. I just want the fun of going through them and seeing which ones I didn't have. So I'm willing to pay $25 for that.
I think that's a good look. It's your right. Yeah. You can spend $25 however you darn well please, Mr. Merritt.
I could spend $25 for one beer at a Laker game. Or
you could
$25.
Well, it's okay. It's more like 12. So two.
Do they ever reissue those cards, like reprint them, or never?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, Topps has been reprinting for years, but of course those aren't the same, Roger.
Because that was the thing with Golden Age comics, was because they were in such limited quantities due to wartime recycling and people just not keeping them around. They commanded very high prices. Then someone hit on the idea like, hey, I got a scanner. I can just scan these and then I'll sell a whole collection for $10.
Yeah.
Or $20.
Yeah, I have a giant reprint of Superman #1, but it's not worth it.
Giant. It's his bed sheet. Superman #1.
Do I have it in here? Or is it in the
Of course he has it right behind him.
I do.
Right behind him, like Felix and his...
A giant Superman poster. Oh, it's right here. Give me a second.
Oh, wow.
It's like coloring book sized for the audio listeners.
Yeah.
It looks like a cereal box size.
When DC was trying to
cereal box, yeah.
I used to have a couple of those, but they weren't. They were oddly all Superman.
Here's an AirPods case for scale.
Those are comparable.
Yeah. But do you have a penny handy, Tom? That's the kind of scale I like.
I do.
No, the other.
What does it look like next to a penny?
The popular one is a soda
Probably
can.
do. Who has a penny in their pocket?
I have a penny in front of me.
A penny for scale.
Tom does. Okay.
I did. I have a penny. You know what's funny?
How do you have a penny in your pocket?
I wouldn't have until this weekend. My childhood friend Mark Jurgada texted me that his son wanted the LA Times because it has a story about the Rams big game. And so
you wanted it from the LA Times.
I was like, where am I going to find? I haven't bought an actual paper newspaper outside of an airport in a long, long time. But I went over to the grocery store and I was like, I don't want to use a credit card for one newspaper. So I used cash and I got change and I stuck it in my pocket.
And these are your chair pants.
And now I have, these are my chair pants. It all ties together.
Well, what's the last thing you spent cash on, Sarah?
Ooh, actually, you know what? It's funny. The other day I went to, Otis and I were going out to the beach and I just wanted a warm beverage. It was cold. So I stopped at this place I never go to and to get a coffee. And, you know, it was $2 or however much the coffee was. And, you know, I same thing. I took out my ATM card and I'm like, hold on a second. I think I probably have some money in here. And then the price was like a little different than I thought. So I got some change. And, you know, I still have it. It'll do something or nothing. I don't know.
Hey, I had to take in our car for the 10,000-mile checkup on it. Yeah. And I just decided to stop. I didn't have time to make breakfast like I normally do. So I stopped by Austin Java. And not only did I have the $4 for the two breakfast taco, the breakfast taco and coffee that I bought, but I also in the little console had the exact change.
Wow.
I die without having cash with exact change for a purchase again. I would not be surprised. I feel like that might be the last one.
Yeah.
You know, that
no,
I should just
does
put
make
my
you feel
change
pretty superhuman.
Yeah.
Where you're like, wait, I have cash. I can cobble together something physical and hand it to you.
Because I had exactly
right now.
And it was $4 and change. It was like 28 cents or something. And so I was reaching for the $20 bill that I had. And nope. I looked down, saw some glittering possibilities, put it together, and handed it to the nice lady.
We have some shocking news.
What's that?
Apple had very good earnings.
Damn.
Yes, they did.
Once again, record revenue from Apple. Incredible.
Is that on just people keep loving that iPhone?
Revenue up 11%, up, net income up from services was good, and iPhones. Services and iPhones seem to be the big ones. Yeah, but Apple made more money than ever, says The Verge. A monster quarter.
Yeah, you know how they got it? They was all the people that forgot to cancel like Arcade and Apple TV Plus and everything else after
iPhone
3
up
months.
9%. Let's see. Accidental forgetting to cancel your service. iPad down 14%. Mac up 25%. Services were up 24%.
You know, I will say this about the App Store stuff. It is really my go-to thing to subscribe to stuff through the App Store because of their ability to let me cancel the services.
Yeah, agreed. I'm about to get into it with a certain British publication that appears to only let you cancel by calling a British number.
I think the ability in a user-friendly way to just hit a button and be done. I got into a bit of a hissy fit with the Paramount Plus app because they wouldn't let me finish Detroiters. It kept saying that I didn't have access to that content on my app, and so I was like, screw it. But I knew exactly where to go to cancel it, even though I was still in the free trial. Yeah. So I didn't even have any money, but I was able to cancel it immediately.
Well, let's immediately pick a title for today's show. Good Day Internet and DTNS titles are at showbot.tv/DTNS2. Here's our top 3 vote getters for DTNS. Rodaddy Zero, dense and lazy. That's how I like my cakes. Batfink 2001, initial Publix with an X offering.
That's great.
And Nth Mike, government at the speed of Sonic the Hedgehog.
We went with the Q Commerce Continuum from Stealth Dave.
Yeah, I like the Q Commerce thing. That's good. All right. Let's go to GDI. Top 3 vote getters. Rodaddy 0. What's the HotNet? What's the HotNet? Zoe brings bacon. The Cleveland of tech news. And Larry in Atlanta. Snow as a lubricant.
We went with Rodaddy Zero's What's the HotNet?
What's the HotNet? Which I know you were asking what is the HotNet, but I kind of feel like it's a what's up kind of phrase.
Like what's the haps?
Yeah.
What's the HotNet, y'all?
What's the HotNet, everybody?
What's hot on the net?
Yeah.
It's a TikTok video every time.
Let's get to our Patreon folks who support us at patreon.com/DTNS and see if we earned a raise. Every time I refresh this page at this time of GDI, I feel like it's a little roulette wheel. And this time it came up zeros. Nobody gave us a raise, but we appreciate everybody who continues to support us. And we also appreciate the folks over on Twitch who support us as well. We got new followers, Y Spotter, Joey Headset, Quiet Hall, Amos resubscribed with Prime for the 2nd month. I didn't cost you anything, so thank you, Amos. A small bit of that will go back to you. And we got bits from Aldi LDL, Larry in Atlanta, Zoe brings bacon, and PC Milesy. Thanks everybody for watching us on Twitch. Thanks everybody for being with us, however you are with us. And until tomorrow, have a good day.
Have a good day.
Good day, Internet.
Good day, Internet.
Good day.